'Cause I love me enough for the both of us.
What's up, guys? I am back today with another video, and you guys will learn that on this channel we're going to be talking a lot about growth, anything that has to do with growth in any area in our lives. And today this topic is going to be about turning setbacks into setups for success. Now, I took a few notes because, sometimes you want to remember a lot of things that you want to talk about, and sometimes you may forget some things. So I wanted to make sure that I didn't forget the tips that I wanted to talk about that I've gained, the experiences that I've gained, and the wisdom that I've gained from the setbacks that I've experienced. And the first one is changing your perspective on a situation. Now, we have free will, right? We can choose how we want to view something. For me, instead of me viewing a setback as an end of something or a failure, I chose to view it as an opportunity for growth. There was a lot that I've experienced during the setbacks, and there were a ton of setbacks that I experienced. And as I mentioned in one of my videos, I talked about different ways on how I learned about myself, and one of them was my birth chart. I was never into that. I never thought about looking into that. I have a sister that's very much into that, but it was just never my thing. It was never anything that I ever wanted to. It just was never anything that I thought about. And one day, I was talking to someone, and they was just like, have you ever looked at your birth chart? And I was just like, no, never really been into that. And because, I'm a very curious minded person, I said, you know what, let me look into it and just see what all the fuss is about. And I looked into it, and in one of my placements, it talked about a lot of the setbacks that I would be experiencing in life. And so once I started seeing the setbacks as opportunity for growth, it just changed everything. It changed everything. One of the setbacks that I dealt with was I was a licensed health insurance agent. I still am, sorry. And I was doing it full time till evening time, and then I would go to work and do Uber, which you guys have heard me mention before. It was something that brought in extra money. It was also a way for me to network and meet people, because with me, I'm the type of person, I try to see any situation as an opportunity for growth. That was just something that's also in my chart too as well. So yeah, that's always been me. No matter what life threw at me, it allowed me to look at it from the perspective of, okay, this is something that I can grow in. What area can I improve in? What area can I be better in? And what happened was, during that particular setback, I ended up losing that job. I still have my license, but I ended up losing that particular job because life just was lifing. I lost that job. And then even with Uber, there was a block, and that's a whole nother story. It's a long story I will have to explain another day. I ended up getting blocked from Uber, and thank God I'm able to do Uber now, because it is a way to, again, make extra income. And also too, I just love meeting new people, networking, just looking at different situations as an opportunity to grow, to expand my horizons, so forth and so on. So I ended up losing both of them. I was like devastated. I felt like, oh my God, like, how am I going to be able to keep a roof over me and my children's head? How am I going to be able to survive? It's just me. Their dad passed away 2019, so that has been like really difficult and challenging, not having him around. So anyways, I just lost everything. So it was just me trying to figure it all out. So I was, I don't know, in the period of, Lord, what am I going to do? Why was all of this stripped from me? Because I don't have anything else to fall back on immediately, right? Of course, I can go look for another job and all of that good stuff, but still, looking for another job requires that time, right? Putting in that effort and time of trying to find something. And so during that time, God, and I talked about this in another video about the isolation, God set me still, and I didn't realize in that time, dealing with that setback, it was a way for me to focus on growing, building, growing and researching the things I needed to know while building my business that I talked to you guys about, that I want to put out next year. So I guess because, you know, when you're trying to work, take care of children, you're trying to keep your mind, your sanity intact, you're trying to stay afloat, you're trying to just juggle a lot of different responsibilities, I kept putting off the things that I needed to do for my business. But I was praying about it. I was praying about everything. And that was one of the things I mentioned in my prayer, was to have more time to work on my business. Not knowing it was going to come in that way. Like, I didn't know that I was going to lose my sources of income that was keeping me and my children, my family afloat, keeping us going. I didn't know it was going to happen like that. So it was very challenging at first to recognize and understand what was taking place. During that time, that period lasted about 5 or 6 months. God just has been making a way. He has been making a way. Sometimes I be like, dang, like, I don't even know how I got, like, this happened or that happened. I don't know. You know, God just make a way. For an example, I had a ticket that I had to take care of. And because I had lost my income, I didn't have the money to take care of the ticket. And do you guys know that the ticket just disappeared? It just disappeared. I went searching for the ticket. When I got the money, I went searching for the ticket to try to pay it. God removed that. And the power of prayer and the power of God, we all know what he can do. In the moment, we're being human, right? We're in our human element, and we're like, oh my God, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And it's challenging to lose your sources of income and still maintain, still provide for your children, take care of, I'm outside, guys, so it's a lot of flies. It's challenging trying to take care of your children, you know, keep your home afloat, like keep everything flowing inside of your home, and keeping, if you have a car note, keeping your car payment up, bills. It's so challenging doing that. And I don't know when it started, but one day I just started working on my business. I stopped stressing and worrying, and I said, Lord, I'm giving this to you. I don't know what to do with this. It's out of my control. This is like, at this point, this was probably about the third setback that I had experienced. And I was like, Lord, you know, I give this to you because I don't know what to do with this. This is really out of my control right now. So I started working on my project / business that I've been working on now for a while. And I got so much done. I got a lot done. I don't know if you guys know, what's her name? R.K. Rowling or J.K. Rowling. The lady that created Harry Potter. That lady dealt with a lot of setbacks, a lot of experiences of her trying to put the book out, trying to put her project out, and she just kept dealing with setbacks. She kept dealing with rejections, some of the same things I was dealing with, and I'm sure some of you guys have dealt with. She kept dealing with rejections and setbacks while she was trying to put her project out. But if you notice, Harry Potter is out. She never gave up. She kept going, and eventually she ended up receiving the blessings for the hard work and effort that she had put into her business. And so one thing that I've learned is setbacks build resilience and perseverance. I realized that I was so determined, number one, not to stay in that position, but also very determined to build my business and to work on it, and to not to use that idle time to not do anything, and also to not just be looking for a job. I realized that that period had happened for a reason. And because, again, this channel is called Journey to Spiritual Growth, because I was healing a lot of areas, I was working on growing spiritually and becoming closer to God, my ancestors, and just working on my higher self, which is the higher level of consciousness that we want to reach, right? I was working on that, and because I was very conscious about my growth and working on that, I immediately just, after I got past the devastating time of complaining, oh, well, why this is happening, whatever, I said, you know what, I'm not going to just use this time to look for a job. I'm going to use this time to work on my long-term goals that essentially, in my mind, in my heart and soul, is going to be able to allow me to leave a legacy behind for my children and grandchildren. So I started building this resilience, this perseverance, and it allowed me to keep moving forward. Like, I kept moving forward. I had this idea, this goal in mind of how I wanted to do things during that time, and I just stayed pushing. I'm like, okay, this happened for a reason. When you pray for things, God will give you the things that you pray for. It may not come in the way you want it. It may not come in the time that you feel like you need it, but God will bless you with the things that you ask for, especially if it's in alignment with the things, your desires, the things that you have been praying for. And so I also realized during that time, some of my goals wasn't that realistic. Again, I am this person, like I said in one of my past videos, I'm all about go big or go home. Now I don't operate in that mindset anymore. Now I try to set realistic goals that are achievable, goals that make sense. The big goals, right, that we can set for ourselves, we can still set them for ourselves, but set realistic short-term goals on how to get there, right? And so that's what I started doing. I also realized I had to have compassion for myself. That's another tip. I had to realize I had to have compassion for myself, because sometimes we can be our worst critic. Sometimes we can beat ourselves up. Sometimes we're like feeling like we're not doing enough when we're actually really doing the best we can. Sometimes other people see it and we don't see it in ourselves because we want to do so much more. So looking at setbacks as an opportunity for growth and opportunity for success is a real thing, guys. If you're experiencing any type of setback that is probably weighing heavy on your heart, is probably even weighing heavy when it comes to your finances, all I could tell you is, if you have support, like if you have people around you that will support you during that time, then talk to them, let them know what's going on, let them know your situation. And if you don't have people, and I know this may be hard to take in, if you don't have the support, I just give it to God. I said I'm gonna stop saying I promise on my channel, but give it to God. Anything that we don't have control over, God is going to make a way for us. He's going to take care of it, because when I tell you guys, I did not know how I was going to survive. I didn't know my daughter was playing basketball at the time. I mean, it was so much going on, and I didn't even know how I was going to keep everything going. Oh, also I lost my car. Oh, I forgot to say that. I lost my car during that time. So I had lost my income and lost my car. So I'm just like, you know what? I don't even know why this is happening. I don't know I don't even know how I got here. But what I do know is I am a very hardworking woman. I'm very resilient. I'm a go-getter. I don't give up. I'm very adaptable. So let me just give this to God, because this is out of my control. This is it's nothing I can do in the very moment. Like when it happened, I couldn't just go get a job the next day, right, in my field. I had to go through the process, right, of looking for another job and, interviewing and all that stuff. So if you're dealing with a setback, look at it as an opportunity for growth, an opportunity to push you further towards your goals and dreams. Another tip is seeing the bigger picture. That's another thing for me. It's flies, guys. So if you see me swarming like these flies, anyways, the pool is right here, so I'm assuming, because there's no food or anything left around for them to be here. But anyways, seeing the bigger picture, I started looking at setbacks as like a minor thing in a grand scheme of things. In my mind, I was like, okay, this is not even nowhere near the thing that's going to stop me from achieving the big picture goal, the big goal that I'm trying to achieve. And the big goal is, again, it's a part of my legacy. It's something I'm leaving behind. And we all know legacy, building these big goals and dreams, they take time. Nothing happens overnight. They take time. They're different from my short-term goals. So for me, I started looking at the bigger picture. Like, okay, this is something that had me make a detour, but it was a detour in a way where it forced me to realize that I needed to focus on the journey, like focus on what was going to help me get closer to the long-term goal. So I started seeing like the bigger picture of what I was trying to do. I also used, another tip was, I used my setback as a form of motivation. I use it to motivate me, because no one wants to stay in that position of feeling like they don't have what they need to survive. It doesn't feel good, right? It just simply doesn't. So it motivated me to work harder. And I don't mean like working harder doesn't always mean the physical, work. Sometimes working harder is just means like the mental side of things, coming up with different ideas, coming up with different ways to do something, right? So my motivation was the end goal for me. Okay, I experienced this setback. It's not going to break me. It's not going to stop me. It's not going to make me fold. I'm going to use this as a learning experience and as the opportunity to grow in the areas that I needed to. Because when you experience setbacks, it's probably something within that setback, right? It's probably something within that setback that you may need to do better. You may need to learn how to do something that you haven't learned how to do yet. And it may be something that is going to help push you forward. But you may not realize it in that time, right? You don't realize it until you're actually sitting still. That's why when we talk about sitting still, being isolated, you only have that time to focus on you. Yeah, you may have children, you may have a husband, boyfriend, whatever, family. However, when you don't have a lot of distractions, right? Whether it's work, having to do all these different obligations that you may have to do within the days, the weeks, whatever. When you're just sitting still and having that time with yourself, that's when you learn the most about yourself, right? That's when you're able to connect with your intuition, right? So, and it kind of helps you. Well, not kind of. It helps you understand what's going on around you, especially if you're the type of person that is tapped in, right? So another thing was I had like these mantras that I would write down, these mantras that I had around my wall. Because remember, I talked to you guys in another video about putting affirmations on the wall, right? So when you wake up, you see them. During that time, that particular setback, because like I said, I've experienced so many. I've had people say, girl, you definitely have a lot of inner strength, because a lot of people couldn't have gotten through it. But I realized a lot of people can get through it if they take out that time to learn them, learn who you are, learn your strengths and weaknesses. Because when you play on your strengths, no matter what happens in life, it allows you to figure out, like, your problem solving skills. It allows you to solve problems, and because you're using the strengths that you have, it allows you to come up with different solutions. It allows you to come up with different ideas. And that's all I was doing. So I feel like anybody could do it. It's just all about knowing who you are, knowing your strengths and weaknesses. And one of the mantras that I had was, every setback is a setup for a comeback, right? Or a setup for a success. That was one of my mantras. One of the other ones was, I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm succeeding. I just kept telling myself that. I kept telling myself that every day. It was just something that, again, I woke up to, I saw it. So if I forgot, let's say I want to do it every day, but maybe the next day I wake up, this one day I wake up, I may be busy trying to do something else, another responsibility that I'm having to take care of, another obligation that I'm having to take care of. But because I put it on my wall and I wake up to it every day, it helped me to remember. So I'm growing, I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm succeeding. And that's exactly what was happening. I wasn't back at my job. I did not have a job, but there was ways that God was making a way. He was sending people to help me, guys. Just support people that I never met. Like I said, the ticket that I had, it just disappeared. I can't even tell you guys what happened. All I know is I went looking for it when I got the money to pay for it. I went looking for it. I went searching for it. I went back to the courthouse. It was like it never happened. It was like it never happened. So God was doing exactly what he was doing to make sure that I had that time to focus on me, my healing, learning more about my business, building that. During that time, I made a lot of great contacts of people that when it's time for me to launch what I'm doing, I will have certain people in place. And who knows who else that I'm going to meet before that time comes. Because again, this is something I'm launching next year. I'm not putting this out this year because I'm still working on it. But next year, probably around the summer, I'm putting it out. And who knows, like I said, who God is going to put on my path to help me out even more. All I know is when I lost both of my sources of income, God was sending people, making a way. There was resources that were showing up. And it was because I just gave it to him. I said, you know what, Father, I give this to you. I can't do this. I don't know what to do. I can't do this on my own. I don't know what to do. I know I don't have the funds because I don't have my sources of income to pay these bills and to keep things going. But I know I have you. And oh my goodness, it was a very pivotal time, a very growing time in my life where I feel like I grew the most. That was one of the times where I grew the most. And I cannot tell you guys, I know I just said this a couple of times, how many setbacks. And again, this is something I saw in my birth chart, that I was going to be going through this in life. And of course, when you have information, knowledge, wisdom, support, right? When you have things that you kind of know, you can kind of deal with it better, right? And that's what happened. Even though I wasn't thinking about a birth chart during that time, like I read it, but it wasn't anything that I was just like, oh, my birth chart said I'm gonna be dealing with setbacks, and my birth chart says this. No, we're still living a human experience. So I read it, I saw it, and guess what? Was I gonna soak in it? No, not after I already, went through the time, the feelings of, oh my goodness, what am I gonna do? Once I released that, once I realized, girl, give it to God and move forward. That's what I did, and it made all the sense. Another tip is celebrating small wins. I think I spoke about this before. Recognize your progress. Recognize like how much you've gotten done and celebrate it, right? You may want to journal to track your progress, to track what you have been doing, what you have been achieving or accomplishing. Okay, I realized I wanted to go and get my business license. Check, I got that. I realized I wanted to get a business plan done. Check, I got that. So I was tracking also the progress of things that I was getting done, right? Also during those celebrating those small wins, when I realized that that was something that I started doing, it was crazy because I wasn't like a conscious thing that I thought about, oh, let me celebrate my small wins. No, it was something that came over time, right? And it was during that time though. I don't know what it was, but I just start realizing that wasn't the time to beat myself up. It just wasn't the time. I'm already feeling down, I'm already going through this period of what am I going to do? What am I going to do? So you know what? Everything that I'm able to get done, let me track this and let me celebrate. Let me big myself up a little bit, right? Like, wow, I got this done. Okay, I got that done. And it feels good. We all know it feels good when you start to accomplish things that you want to achieve, right? It feels good. So in this process of dealing with setbacks for any of you guys, prepare yourself for any future setbacks, because these tips, that's what it does. It prepares you for any future setbacks. So if you deal with another one, right, you're able to deal with it in a more positively way and in less stressful way, right? It also helps you to come up with a backup plan. That was another thing that I did. Once I experienced the last setback that I've experienced, I pray that I don't experience any more anytime soon. But guess what? If I do, I'm better equipped, right? I'm better equipped. But once I dealt with the very last one that I dealt with, it changed my mindset. It allowed me to embrace change. And with change comes opportunity. And also, too, it becomes like once you embrace change and you create a backup plan for yourself, it helps with the coping mechanisms that, we deal with when we're dealing with things that we feel like have fell apart. A setback is just a setup for a comeback. That's all it is. It's like thundering and lightning out here, guys. So anyways, I just wanted to come out here and talk to you guys about dealing with setbacks, because I know that they're not easy. I know that I know that they're challenging, and I know that through it though, if I was able to get through it, I know you guys can too, which is why I wanted to share some helpful tips on how I got through the setbacks that I've dealt with. And God knows it has been so many. I've lost count. I don't even count them. I just now, when I deal with them, now I'm just getting better and better at learning how to maneuver. And also, again, it has allowed me to come up with backup plans to kind of help me. We hear about this stuff, but a lot of times, sometimes we don't do it because sometimes you don't think something is going to happen to you. You don't. None of us really do. We're not thinking like that. But once we go through it, it helps build character. It helps build it helps us build the perseverance, like I said, and the resilience to kind of help us deal with anything in life, like all sorts of things that may come our way. So I know this video was pretty lengthy. However, I really hope that this helps someone out here, because we all be dealing with some of the same things. It may be different circumstances, but we all be dealing with some of the same things. And I just wanted to just kind of motivate someone, uplift someone, and let you guys know that you are not alone if you're dealing with a setback. It's just a way to come back. You're gonna come back better. I promise you. And I said I was gonna stop saying I promise. But you're gonna come back better, stronger, better, more determined. So take it from someone that has been experiencing these setbacks. Like for the last 3 years, I've been dealing with setbacks at least like every 6 months. This is no lie. This is no lie. Like it seems like every 6 months. I literally told my oldest son, he's 24, and I told him I went down the list, guys, of all the setbacks that I've been experiencing. But each and every one of them has been a catalyst. Like I've grown exponentially. I've grown. And so with this thunder and lightning, I feel like that is my cue to stop this video. I hope you guys can get something from this. I hope this resonates with a lot of you guys. And yeah, I'll be back with another video. Take care.